All right, traders, the stock market is currently trading at a key critical gap close reversal support level. I'm going to walk you through when to be long biased and when to be short biased for the market. This video is going to give you a much better understanding on how to react and what to expect for the upcoming price action, when to buy the calls and when to buy the put options, right? You can make money when the market's going down, guys. We just killed it within Trader Society once again. I ended up making over 60% profit return on OCGN put options. I'm 3 for 3 on OCGN puts throughout the past 2 weeks of Trader Society. I've only had one loss on trading options, and I had 6 wins on options so far. That one small loss was today. I got it put on the video. I'm going to be walking you through that as well. It was only a 14% loss, guys. Within this program, we had mRNA call options, nearly 100% profit return. We had DocU call options, nearly a 90% profit return. We had OCGN put options, over 60%. And then I nailed it again last week, 24%. Guys, we're absolutely crushing it within Trader Society. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through the trade recap and teach you the strategies. I'm telling you guys, make sure you stay till the end of this video because this lesson I'm about to share with you is going to be so valuable in terms of this gap fill trading strategy, right? So let's get right into the price action analysis. So for those of you within, within Trader Society, right? What SPY is currently doing is, from a technical view, it's having a gap close reversal. There was a gap to fill right here at $453.42. And in terms of this gap, you can see today's the day where that gap actually filled. On this day right here, the low is 453.56. So it almost filled it. It didn't fill it yet. Well, today was the day where SPY filled that gap. Once it filled that gap at that key oversold support level, you can see very nice support around here in the low 450s, nice upside potential for the short term being, right? It started having a gap close reversal, which is a very bullish reaction. Now, with that being said, here's the second part of the strategy. So for those of you within Trader Society, make sure you go to the video lesson library, watch the gap close reversal strategy where we go in depth on that, and also watch the gap breakout strategy because this is the second part. So SPY filled the gap. It's having a gap close reversal. In terms of how does this reversal look as of now, the volume is looking very, very strong, and it's looking very, very bullish here for the short term being. As you could see, it hit that key support level, it hit that key gap fill level, this red line, and it formed a very bullish pin, a very bullish candlestick. Now, within Trader Society, make sure you guys go back and watch the gap breakout strategy because this is the second part. So SPY had a gap down today. Once a stock has a gap down, you take the high of day. $454.40. Once SPY goes above 454.40, this resistance level right here, there is no resistance. It's just going to start to break out and fill the gap. As you can see, there's empty space on the chart and there's just no resistance. So if SPY can break above this 455.40 level and hold and turn into support, we're going to be on track to quickly fill this gap. There's a gap to fill at 459.87. If that reacts as a resistance level, it goes back to 455. If that breaks out and reacts as a support level, within time, it's going to shoot back up to fill this gap right here at 466.33, which is the highest gap to currently fill above on the SPY, which would be one of the best prices to potentially buy put options on that, right? So I'm going to be very interested in seeing how this reacts. There is a play where you can buy the breakout above 455, ride it up for the gap fill, look to taking profits there. If it looks strong, reacts as a support, you can try to ride some of your position out, right? You don't want to ride the full thing out. You can try to ride some out and then play for the next gap fill. Once that gap fills, if we see signs of resistance, I'm going to be looking to buy puts once again. So that's my thoughts on the SPY. As of now, it's looking very, very bullish. You could see here during extended hours, it is holding well above the key level, turning it into a support. Now, if we see a fake out, so if you see SPY go under 455, that means the bears are in control and you could expect it to go to 449 throughout the week. So that's the analysis. That's my thoughts on SPY. You guys know what to do within the program. We're going to be crushing this one once again here soon. Just got to wait for the ideal situations to play out. Now, let's go over OCGN. So within Trader Society, as you can see, and this trade was streamed live. I trade every single day at market open. They get to see my screen and, hear the commentary. With that being said, You could see we crushed OCGN. For those of you who've been following the channel, I made a 24% win on the options, into last week. And then I had another nice win on that one as well. And here I am doing it again. This is a great stock to follow, and I'm about to share with you the strategy. So listen up, and this is going to go over the basics. This is the gap fill strategy. So for those of you within Trader Society, make sure you go to the short selling section, and it's going to teach you the gap fill strategy. Plenty of content on this one. It's a phenomenal strategy. So let's get into it. You can see right here at 9:43 a.m. I had alerted, also live on stream, that I bought OCGN put options at 47 cents a contract. Expiration was December 31st. It was a potential swing trade. The reason why I decided not to hold through is because OCGN has been following the SPY, and SPY was starting to close strong. I'm going to walk you through that exit as well. And you can see right here, the strike was 550. Potential swing trade goal is 25 to 40%. And then in terms of my real-time exit alert, you could see right here, I ended up selling for a profit right here at 70 cents at 2:13 p.m. So let's get into the timestamps, let's get into the contracts, let's get into the strategy so you guys fully understand why it is that I'm entering there and why it is that I'm exiting there, right? So that was a very nice win. Imagine buying a stock literally at 45 cents. And then just a couple hours later, selling for 70 cents, right? That's over 50% profit return very, very quickly. So let's get into this analysis on OCGN, which is a stock that nobody is talking about, and we're consistently banking on this stock. So in terms of the option chain, you could see right here, I went with the 5.5 strike. This is the strike I went with. Expiration December 31st. In terms of the volume was over 1,006 on these contracts, which was the most amount of volume. In terms of all the put options that this stock had, the one that we chose was the most amount of volume. And at the time being, this actually had one of the least. So that just goes to show you, within 2 weeks of the program, let me show you the power of Trader Society. Look at this, guys. Like it's serious on how well this did. Take a look at OCGN. This is the one that had the most volume in the day. The absolute low was at 43 cents. I had students buying this one. Some of them bought it before me, and they got in at 45 cents. I called this out on the pre-market watch list. Look at this at 4:28 a.m. in the pre-market. OCGN puts at market open. My target for NVIDIA to 266 next week. That was on December 17th. My target was reached. We're going to go over NVIDIA as well, because NVIDIA was my first loss in terms of trading options since I started Trader Society, which was on December 8th. I've had, I believe, 5 or 6 option wins and then 1 small loss. The wins, almost all of them, were at least double to triple, and some were much greater than the small loss I had on NVIDIA. But let's get into this, right? So in terms of OCGN, right? Let's go back into the chart here. I'm going to walk you through this trade. So we bought the contracts. This is where I had alerted right here at 9:43 a.m. Literally right here at the lows. This is where I had alerted. And then you can see as soon as we start alerting, the volume really starts to come in. The stock starts to crash. We're going to get into that, right? But with that being said, let me show you in terms of what students did with this one. We had this guy make over a 63% profit return on OCGN. Thanks for the OCGN puts. First trade since joining the group and up, up on this massive red day, right? The market was getting crushed and he's up on the OCGN puts. Most people are losing money going long, buying calls. We're buying the puts like we've been doing consistently on SPY to make money as well. Went pretty light and conservative because I can't watch over it today. Scalped $700 profit, nearly 2 times the cost of what I charged to join Trader Society. Very nice trade. We had another guy make over 45% profit return. And then we had, this was killer, man. Look at this entry. He was going long at 45 cents, one of the best entries within the program. And then he locked in profits at 60 cents. So yeah, congratulations for those of you who played this one. It was a phenomenal trade. With that being said, I locked in profits at 70 cents. You can see this option chain right here. Now let's get into the chart. So in terms of OCGN and the chart, take a look at this strategy. This is called the gap fill strategy. See how OCGN just uptrends, it rips up for a couple days, right? So it just spikes for a couple days. For about 3 days, it just spikes. And then overall, when it gaps up here, this is the day it had a gap up. The high of day was at 650. And the stock ended up closing directly at the lows at 559. So the high of day was literally at market open. When this gapped up, it lost all of its gains and it dropped $1 from the highs. Look at what it did. History repeated itself. See how it's just slowly grinding up for a couple days. It's just grinding up here from support, grinding up here from support. You guys remember the key 525 support level, right? You had key 525 support right here. Key 525 support When it hits 525, it explodes up. The day it gaps up, which is right here, it fills the gap, it gets crushed, and then 3 days after that, even more downside potential. It drops another dollar from the closing price where it gapped up. You can see history is already repeating itself. So I saw that pattern, and I saw that, this recently cracked 525. And today we have the gap up at new lower highs. So it's a bearish trend because the stock is consistently, cracking the key level. It's forming new lower highs and it's topping out at, it's cracking support as well, right? So new lower lows. Now, with that being said, take a look at the chart. History tends to repeat itself. This is the gap fill strategy. See how it gaps up in the pre-market, market open. What does it do? It gets absolutely crushed, sells off, closes weak at the lows. Well, history repeated itself. I noticed the gap up today. It was looking weak at market open. And I told myself, this stock is on track for history to repeat itself. And then in terms of how do you know where the price target's going to be? Look at what it did last time. Last time it dropped a dollar from highs at open. In terms of today, the high was 578. The low was 504. See how history repeats itself in similar cycles and it closes weak at the lows? And if history continues to repeat itself, this stock is going to continue to downtrend. But the reason why I decided not to swing trade this one is because it does tend to follow SPY at times. And you could see SPY was recovering for the short term. It looks like it's due for some sort of micro bounce to like 460 on the SPY, right? And it's already pushed to 524. And I sold the contracts very, very close towards the highs. So I have no regrets of locking in profits. This could go to 450 in terms of by Thursday. It's just a little bit unlikely if SPY holds that 450 level. So the main reason why I decided to lock in profits on this for over 60% and, not swing is because this tends to follow SPY, and SPY looks very, very bullish for the short term being as it was breaking out and now above that key level. So basically in terms of me locking in profits, once I saw SPY really starting to perk up right here. So I locked in profits at around 2:20, 2:30 p.m. So basically I locked in profits right around here. Once I noticed that this was breaking out towards key resistance right here and it was looking bullish, I told myself I got to play it safe and I got to lock in profits because SPY is having that gap close reversal right here and it's most likely going to continue to go up for the short term. So I got to play it safe, got to lock my profits. Don't want to give profits back. With that being said, that was OCGN. So it was a classic gap fill strategy. I'm looking at the history, right? So I'm looking at the chart history and I'm telling myself, so these are some keys, 525 right here. This is your key support level on the daily. If this cracks and turns into resistance, your next overall support is towards 4s on the daily. Now, with that being said, the stock has been consistently going down. You can see right here, it's been consistently tracking 525. New lower highs at 650. This is the day it gaps up. It loses all of its gains, right? And then it just gets crushed. And you could see history repeated itself. So once I identified that trend and captured it, I seized the moment, right? That's exactly what I did on OCGN. It's a stock that gives. It's a gift for this to gap up. It's a great opportunity to buy puts towards market open. I didn't get them right away. I got them at 9:43 a.m. I didn't get them right away because the spread was wide at market open. The spread's going to be very, very wide with the options, especially for the ones that aren't as liquid. But as you can see, Trader Society has the power to make them very, very liquid very, very quickly, right? As that was the highest volume in terms of all the contracts on the options. So with that being said, that was the strategy. Very, very simple. We're finding a stock that gaps up. That's, cracking key levels over time. We're looking for the pattern. When it looks bearish, it opens. So right here, 578, it gets crushed. It pushes back up, forms new lower highs. That's my key entry to get in. Play for the gap to fill. Once the gap fills, if it cracks and reacts as a resistance level, which it did right here, then it's going to be a continue to hold. And if it ends up, turning this key level into a support level and bounces, then you're gonna have to lock in profits right away. So with that being said, that was the play of the day. OCGN puts absolutely pretty. You can see there was a lot of support here towards 5s. So another reason for me to get out. So that's my thoughts. That's my analysis on that one. Make sure you guys go back and watch the gap fill strategy within Trader Society. We go really in depth on this one. As for NVIDIA, this was the first loss of my options trades within Trader Society now since I started. Now, with that being said, you can see right here, I cut it very, very quickly and I had the right idea because this did end up getting crushed. So in terms of, my stock analysis, I was extremely bearish on NVIDIA. You can see right here on December 17th, I was expecting this to go to 266. With that being said, I played the puts today. I played the gap close reversal. It would have worked out if I held, but it was trading sideways and it was starting to go and break out. So I want to play it safe, cut losses quickly. I got in at 9:47 a.m. I bought the NVIDIA puts at $9.22. I got the December 23rd strike, 270, December 23rd expiration, 277.5 strike. And then in terms of selling, so as you can see right here at 9:56 a.m., I had alerted that I sold my NVIDIA put options at $8.08 from 9:22 for a small 14% loss. And I clearly stated that OCGN was going to be the play for the day as I continue to focus and double down on that one. So with that being said, this was simply just a quick scalp that didn't work out. I wasn't expecting it to be some sort of amazing trade to begin with, which is why I sized in fairly light. In terms of my entry, I entered it right around here when we saw a rejection. So in terms of what NVIDIA did today, NVIDIA had a gap down. And as I had mentioned in my previous video, once this stock has its gap down, there's a gap to fill right here at 266. Once this stock fills the gap, it's most likely going to have a reversal and then start to shoot back up. Well, today it ended up gapping down in the pre-market, and it literally bottomed at like 4 a.m. You could have bought shares on this. Unfortunately, you couldn't have traded the options, but it literally bottomed at 265. As soon as it filled the gap during extended hours, it ended up shooting back up to fill this gap. There was a gap to fill right here at 277.80. So it had a nice gap close reversal here to key support level, and then it filled the gap. So I was playing for the gap close reversal on the short side, right? Since I couldn't have played this on the long side unless I did shares. But with that being said, in terms of this trade, it was looking very bearish in the beginning. You had a nice rejection as soon as the gap filled for a nice reversal. It was forming bearish wicks, bearish candlesticks. It was starting to break down. But then the bulls started breaking out and they took control. And I started to get concerned right around here when I was reacting as support and reaching for a new high of day. So I quickly decided to get out of the position because it was trading sideways. The bulls took control. It had a new high of day breakout and it started to, turn this into a key support level. And you could see even later, shortly after that, it had a very nice breakout and went to 281. I believe the puts dropped all the way to $6 at that time. So it's a good thing I got out. From a macro point of view, we did see a nice little pullback to 271, but then NVIDIA likes to follow SPY. And like I'd mentioned, I took my profits on OCGN. As soon as I took my profits on OCGN, the SPY, OCGN, all the stocks started ripping up like NVIDIA. So I did the right thing on this one. And I'm really glad that I was able to cut my losses quickly because not every trade is going to be a win. What I could have done better on this trade, there's really not much of what I could have done better in terms of my entry and exit. The main thing that I could have done better is just focusing on trading a better setup. That's about it. This wasn't like the most amazing setup. In terms of the amazing setup, it was clearly the dip buying opportunity. I just didn't have that opportunity in terms of the options, right? So that's the analysis. That's my thoughts on NVIDIA. So if you guys do want to be a part of Trader Society, you get to watch me trade live every single day at market open. You get my real-time stock analysis. You get access to the chat room. You get access to the video lesson library with all of the trading strategies, the psychology, the risk management, all the trading tools that I use, platforms, everything, brokers, right? If you want to learn more about Trader Society, there's so much included within this program. You get lifetime access. It's a one-time fee. Simply click the link below in the description. And I will see you guys tomorrow at market open. We're going to continue to crush it. We're going to continue to consistently make money within the market. We're going to continue to trade the best setups at the best prices. I will see you guys at market open.